Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Games for Dads and Wildcards. Well, exciting news for you. The March balance changes are incoming. In fact, they have happened already. I think they took place yesterday, up there 9th of March 2026. Quite a few much needed nerfs and buffs to the game because the balancing, extremely difficult to get the balancing right, I can tell you now on this game. But let's go through them, have a look to see what has been nerfed, what has been buffed, and have a look how it's going to impact the upcoming meta. Yep, there is definitely an upcoming meta deck that seems to be, at the moment, pretty much the best deck. Anyhow, first card up is a legendary, it's Heart. What's changed before? It was 4 for 0, it's now 3 for 0. So less energy, and before, when played, this card gains +1 power permanently for each autonomy card you play this turn, and then you lose 3 HP. And this is really good because they've changed it from autonomy to science. So the good news about that card now, and for mono science, which is an absolutely awesome deck now, that is really, really good. So that is the Heart change. Next one up, let's have a look at the next card. The next card up is Pizza. Nice bit of pizza. Another legendary card. So before, 3 energy, 0 power. At the start of each turn, for every card burning in your hand at the start of the turn, gain +1 hero attack. And now it is 3 for 2, so a little bit of power on the card. At the start of each turn, your cards burning at the start of this turn gain +2 attack until played. Quite useful. But your cards burning at the start of this turn gain 2 attack until played. If they're burning, they're losing. So actually they're only gaining 1. So that's kind of a bit weird, really. Very strange. Okay, the next card up. Let's have a look. The next one is Mars. Let's get the Mars card up, shall we? The Mars card. Let's have a look. We should have that one. What have they done to Mars? There we go. Mars. Before, it was 6 energy, 4 power. When played, if you are below 10% HP, restore 25 HP. I like that. That was quite good, actually. And now, after 3 energy, 1 power. Okay, so the energy's cost gone down. The power's gone down as well. When played, if you're below 25 HP, restore 15 HP. Well, that's kind of been nerfed a little bit. I'm not sure if it really needed, actually, because getting down to 10%, you just got to sit there. Doesn't really make too much sense, that one. But again, you can stick that in a mono science deck. Probably not the greatest science card. But there we go. That's a bit of a change. Next card up is Mount Kilimanjaro. Haven't got this one, so I haven't tested it. But what was it before? 5 energy, 4 power. It's now 8 and 8. Wow, expensive to play. When returned, this card gains +3 attack and costs +1 energy permanently. That's what it used to be. Now, when returned, this card gains plus attack and costs +4 energy permanently. So extra 5 attack, but an extra 3 energy. Wow, that card's going to be so expensive, no? It's 8 now. When returned, this card gains +8 attack and costs +4 energy. So it's going to be a 12 for 16 the second time you play it. Well, I'm imagining we're going to have a few high energy leagues. At the moment, that seems to be a little bit broken, kind of unplayable. Unless I've got that one wrong. But no, that's why it definitely says. Anyhow, let's move on. The next one up is Saturn. I think this is another legendary. Let's have a look. Saturn. Whoop, there we go. No, it's an epic. This one makes no sense to me at all. The changes. Before, it was 8 energy, 6 power. At the start of each turn, restore 2 HP. Now, it's 6 energy, 6 power. And at the start of each turn, restore 2 HP. This one, I really don't get why they've changed it. There's a lot of other cards that needed to be changed. This card is absolutely awesome, and they buffed it. They've made it even better. I mean, to be honest with Saturn, you normally just put it in your deck and hold it because it's a start card. And they haven't changed that. No, it's still a start card. Really weird. I don't understand that, Avid. Why would you have made that and buffed one of the best cards in the game? But anyhow, I'm sure they know what they're doing. Right, the next one is Baskin Shark. Oh, by the way, Saturn fits in a mono science deck. Baskin Shark was 8 energy, 6 power. At the start of each turn, restore 2 HP. Sorry, that's Saturn. What am I talking about? Okay, Basking Scarf was, this is more like it, was 8 energy, 6 power. So same energy and power. At the start of each turn, a random card in either player's hand with 3 or less base energy burns -1 attack for 2 turns. And now, so it's the same energy, same power. At the start of each turn, a random opponent's card in hand with 3 or less base energy burns 1 attack for 2 turns. Kind of think that makes sense, really, because you could have ended up burning a card that had just been played and it wouldn't actually come around. So yeah, good change just to make the card actually do what it's supposed to do. So quite a good one. Okay, the next one is nitrogen. Whoops, messages coming through there. Sorry about that. Right, nitrogen. What have they done to nitrogen? By the way, nitrogen is another science card. Let's get the card up quickly. There we go. So nitrogen was before 7 energy, 6 power. When played adjacent to any rare card. Okay, they've corrected the sentencing on some of these, which is good. I don't know who they got to write them. Right, start again. When played adjacent to any rare card, this card loses 1 attack permanently, and you gain +0 attack. Kind of makes sense if you drop out one of the when played. Now it's 6 energy for 2 power, so they've made it cheaper to play but reduced the power. When played, for every rare card played adjacent to this, so that can be a maximum of 2 if you play it in the middle, this card gains +4 attack this turn. So if you're playing rare cards, and again it's a science, and again there's some really good science rare cards, not trying to give you a clue on what the meta is going to be, but quite an interesting change. I'm glad they're fixing the sentences on some of these, and I think when they put the words on the card it's going to be a lot better than those icons. But yeah, nitrogen, probably quite a good buff, I would say that is, really. Well, definitely a buff, really. Okay, the next one up is carbon. Is this another science card? Wow, what a surprise. Getting the hint here. Carbon, what was it before? 6 energy, 5 power. That hasn't changed. And before, when drawn, 4 random common cards this time in either player's hand, gain +2 attack until played. And now, when drawn, 2 random common cards in hand. That's much better. Then we're not giving points to our opponent. When drawn, 2 random common cards in hand, gain +2 attack until played. That actually makes carbon quite a viable card now. That is a really good buff on that card. So it's taking out the randomness, which I hate in this game. There's too much randomness, and you can actually control what's going on. So really good. Another science card. This one I'm really sad about. The next one, Zheng Yi Soul. This was probably one of my favorite cards. Oh, it was so broken, so it did need to be nerfed, to be honest. Another legendary card. What was it before? 7 energy, 4 power. When played, if you did not attack last turn, your opponent loses -10 HP. That was absolutely massive. In the right deck, where you were just sitting back, and my favorite deck, when I was just sitting back and letting this fella do all the work. I mean, it's been nerfed, but it's not too drastic. It's now, when played, if you did not attack last turn, your opponent loses 8 HP. So it's only 2 HP difference, but 2 HP is quite a lot in this game. Not bad. Not too bad. Still playable. Definitely playable. Still one of the best cards in the game by far. Okay, the next one. Another pirate. Anne Bonny. Where is Anne Bonny? There she is. Before 8 energy, 6 power. So that hasn't changed. When played with Calicio Jack. Why do they put when played? They've done it right on the new bit anyhow. When played with Calicio Jack, force your opponent to attack this turn. Okay, now when played, force your opponent to attack this turn. Yes, that is a great card. I love force attack, and the good thing with that one is it's quite powerful. It's quite high on the energy. You will probably see Anne Bonny quite a lot in some of those force attack decks. There's a few of them. Blackbeard will be a good deck for Anne Bonny now. So really good buff on that one. Really, really good. I like that one a lot. Okay, let's get the next load up. And we didn't do Calicio Jack. So Calicio Jack, whoop, come back. Okay, Calicio Jack. What have they done to Calicio Jack? Let's get him up quickly. Have a look. There he is. So he was before 7 energy, 5 power, so that hasn't changed. When returned, when played, what? I think they got a 5-year-old kid to write these cards. When returned, when played with Anne Bonny, if both players see, that's why they need the word at the beginning instead of the icon, because it's a return card. So when played with Anne Bonny, if both players attack this turn, your opponent loses -5 HP. I shouldn't laugh. After 7 energy, 5 power, when returned, if both players attack this turn, your opponent loses -5 HP. There we go. Just simplifies the wording a little bit and makes it a bit easier to understand. It's not really going to have too much change. Right, the next one is the Eye. Isn't the Eye another science card? Oh no, sorry, Apollo. I do apologize. Apollo, can't forget Apollo. Right, before was 8 energy, 7 power. That hasn't changed. When drawn, if it's turn 1, gain 3 energy per turn for 3 turns. If it's turn 9, gain 3 hero attack. That card was absolutely useless. It's just random potluck that he's going to come out on turn 1 or cycle him to come round on turn 9, which is pretty useless, really. Now, is he any better? When drawn, if it's an odd turn, gain 3 energy. If it's an even turn, gain 3 hero attack. Really good buff. Much, much better. They've turned an absolutely useless card to one that is actually quite playable. Again, a bit of a gamble whether you're going to get the odd or the even turn. But again, if you get your cycling right, and cycling is not too difficult actually in this game. But yeah, that is a really good one. So expect to see Apollo being played quite often. Right, back to science, hopefully. Back to science. The next one is the Eye. Where is the Eye? Oops. Come back. Eye. There we go. Eye. Right. Before 2 energy, 2 power. Look at it now. 5 energy, 4 power. That is a massive change. But what was it before? When returned, if played between 2 autonomy cards, the card opposite costs +1 energy permanently. Okay. And now, when returned, for every autonomy card you play this turn, the card opposite costs +1 energy permanently. Or every autonomy card you play this turn. So it doesn't have to be in the middle anymore. I'm not really sure about that one. It's giving it a lot of energy, a bit of power. That one I'm not really sure about. I don't even know if it's a buff or a nerf, to be quite honest. If you're watching this video, anybody, and you know if that's a buff or a nerf, do let me know. And then Wicker Man. I think this is a nerf. Let's get Wicker Man up. Great card, Wicker Man. Before he was 8 energy, 12 power. Look at his energy and power now. That has totally changed. When drawn, this card burns -3 until played. And you gain 3 HP this turn. And you gain 3 HP turn this card burns. Oh dear, Avid, come on, attention to detail. It's shocking. Right, now, let's get it up. After, now, it's 5 energy, 3 power, as you can see on the right. When drawn, your cards in hand burn -1 until played. And you gain 5 HP. Your cards in hand burn 1 until played, and you gain 5 HP. I don't think that's a nerf or a buff. I think they've just kind of realigned it. I mean, he was a good card because at 12 power, he was super powerful. So I'm going to go and say that is actually a little bit of a nerf, but it's actually an okay card now. But any card with 12 power kind of broken in this game. That's why some of those cards that get in 7 permanent buffs are absolutely awesome, and they happen to be science cards as well. A couple of heroes have been changed as well. Let's just have a quick look at what the heroes. So Cleopatra, can't get Blackbird up. So Cleopatra has gone from 60 HP to 70 HP. Nothing else has changed. Yeah, that's okay. It's made Cleopatra super duper strong now. So expect to see Cleopatra. If you know how to use Cleopatra, she is going to be very strong. And Blackbeard, before, when activated, force attack this turn, and your cards in hand gain +2 attack this turn. Okay, I can't get it on the screen. It won't scroll anymore. Sorry about that. And now, unactivated, both players are forced to attack this turn, and your cards in hand gain +2 attack this turn. Actually changes the way you use Blackbeard a little bit. But yeah, it's okay change. So there we go. So what about the meta? Well, I would tell you to have a good look at Science, Mono Science. Absolutely awesome. If you've got all the cards, it's like every game, you do need all of the cards. But there's now not so many broken cards. There are still a few broken cards that for some reason I've decided not to touch, which is good because I like to use them. Anyhow, let me know in the comments what you think of all the changes. I hope there is a second part coming because I think there's a few more nerfs and wording and abilities need fixing on some of the other cards before the game gets too popular. Anyhow, thanks for watching, everybody. Take care, and we will see you all very soon. Bye.